英語で国内ニュースです。優しい英語で今日の出来事をお届けします。
The Bank of Japan decided to raise interest rates at its monetary policy meeting ending June 16th, setting the policy rate around 1%. This aims to curb significant future price increases. Widespread price hikes are driven by rising oil costs from the Iran situation and the yen's depreciation.
The Nikkei average in Tokyo's stock market broke 70,000 yen for the first time on June 16th, hitting a new intraday high. Buying increased in the afternoon. This was supported by the Bank of Japan's additional interest rate hike announced past noon, as it was largely within market expectations.
A bill revising Japan's criminal retrial system passed the House of Representatives. It primarily prohibits prosecutors from appealing retrial decisions. The bill also adds rules on evidence use and prosecutors' evidence lists. Supported by ruling parties, its passage in the current Diet session is highly likely.
Fujitsu announced Chairman Hidenori Furuta, 67, resigned on June 16th, effective today. The company cited inappropriate conduct related to women as the reason, without disclosing specifics. Furuta was slated for re-election as a director at the June 29 shareholders meeting, but his candidacy was withdrawn.
Over 900 high-roller wraps from a Nagoya Costco caused food poisoning. 5 people aged 7 to 49 fell ill, with E. coli 0157 detected. 3 were hospitalized. 1 boy with hemolytic uremic syndrome remains hospitalized. The store's kitchen is now suspended.
Yusuke Sasaki, 38, was arrested on a flight for organized fraud, suspected of leading a scam operation in Poipet, Cambodia. 6 Japanese police forces made the June 16th arrest. Sasaki allegedly defrauded a woman of 31.4 million yen last February, impersonating a police officer.
The Japan Fair Trade Commission inspected 6 major food manufacturers on June 16th. This follows suspicions that they formed a cartel to raise ice cream prices. The inspections occur as ice cream prices have been rising, partly due to soaring raw material costs.
4 parties, LDP, Ishin, Democratic Party for the People, and Sensato, jointly submitted a bill to the Diet. It aims to penalize acts of damaging Japan's national flag. Some provisions were removed from the initial draft, considering concerns for freedom of expression.
Former Kadokawa chairman Suguhiko Kadokawa, 82, sued President Takeshi Natsuno and a lawyer on June 16th. He seeks 200 million yen for defamation. Kadokawa claims an internal report held him responsible for Tokyo Olympics bribery without his input. Indicted in 2022, he maintains his innocence.
次は社会のニュースです。
A bill to revise Japan's retrial system has passed the House of Representatives. The amendment largely prohibits prosecutors from appealing retrial decisions and adds a 5-year review for evidence misuse and prosecutor evidence lists. Supported by the ruling party and Sansito, the bill is now expected to be enacted in the current Diet session.
Japan's Fair Trade Commission raided 6 major food manufacturers on June 16th. The companies are suspected of forming a cartel to illegally raise ice cream prices. This investigation comes as ice cream prices have been increasing for consumers due to rising raw material costs.
Toshima Village in Kagoshima Prefecture has lifted the evacuation order for Kuchinoara-Bujima Island. The order, affecting 61 households and 90 residents, was rescinded at 3:31 p.m. This decision followed the lifting of the Level 4 landslide hazard warning.
Yusuke Sasaki, 38, was arrested on June 16th for fraud. He is suspected of leading a Cambodian fraud operation that defrauded a woman of 31.4 million yen by impersonating police. His group reportedly used generative AI for face swapping in video calls. Sasaki was arrested during his transfer from Thailand.
Koji Wakamatsu, 40, a Tokyo elementary school teacher, has been rearrested. He is suspected of pressing his lower body against a 9-year-old girl's gym clothes. A video of the act was found on a seized tablet. Wakamatsu, who admits to the charges, was previously arrested for similar offenses.
Rimi Yamaji, 35, previously indicted for abandoning her newborn son, has been rearrested. She is now suspected of abandoning a second infant's body at her workplace, found years later in a bag. DNA testing confirmed she is the mother. She admits to giving birth to both infants.
A TikTok video showing a woman repeatedly pushing a toddler's face into a cake-led child welfare services to protect the child on June 5th. Other videos showed the toddler with beer and submerged in bathwater. Authorities received many abuse reports. Police are investigating, and the mother could face loss of parental rights.
The Liberal Democratic Party's Tax Commission discussed a consumption tax reduction on food on June 15th. Opinions were divided. Some called for a 0% rate, while others opposed any reduction. No one supported the government's proposed 1% reduction. The government plans a temporary 1% cut for 2 years from next April.
Japan's government approved its first basic plan to promote understanding of LGBT people on June 16th. The plan includes measures to foster understanding among teachers and enhance school counseling systems. This decision follows the LGBT Understanding Promotion Law enacted 3 years ago.
次はビジネス関連のニュースです。
The Bank of Japan decided to raise its policy interest rate to about 1%. This marks the first rate hike since December 2025 and the first time the rate has reached 1% in 31 years. The decision made on June 16th addresses increased inflation risks, partly due to the Middle East situation. Markets are closely watching for comments on future policy direction.
Japan's Fair Trade Commission investigated 6 major ice cream companies, including Meiji and Lotte, on June 16th. They are suspected of forming a cartel to coordinate retail price increases, violating anti-monopoly law. It's believed these companies exchanged information over several years to adjust price hikes, particularly for lower-priced ice cream. The commission is now clarifying the situation.
Fujitsu announced on June 16th that Chairman Hidenori Furuta, 67, has resigned, effective immediately. The company cited inappropriate conduct related to women as the reason, without disclosing specific details. Furuta was initially a candidate for re-election as a director. The chairman position is currently vacant, and a successor has not yet been decided.
On June 16th, the Nikkei stock average briefly surpassed 70,000 yen for the first time in history. The Tokyo Stock Exchange closed 87 yen higher, reaching a new record. This surge was driven by expectations of an end to the Middle East conflict and the Bank of Japan's interest rate hike to 1%, a 31-year high.
4 parties, including the LDP and Ishin, jointly submitted a bill to Parliament to punish acts of desecrating Japan's national flag. Provisions were removed from the initial draft following concerns about freedom of expression. The parties aim to protect national symbols while respecting constitutional rights.
The House of Representatives Commission on the Constitution reached an agreement. Ruling and opposition parties will vote on June 18th. The vote concerns a bill to amend the national referendum law submitted by the LDP and 3 other parties. This bill outlines procedures for constitutional amendments.
At the G7 summit in France, Prime Minister Takaichi stressed the importance of a swift final agreement between the United States and Iran to end hostilities. She also stated that Japan would support other nations in introducing critical mineral stockpiling systems, reflecting global efforts for stability and resource security.
On June 16th, the Japanese government approved its first basic plan to promote understanding for LGBT individuals. The plan includes measures to foster understanding among teachers and improve consultation systems in schools. This decision follows an LGBT law enacted 3 years ago, marking a significant step towards a more inclusive society.
NTT Docomo and WowWow announced a capital and business alliance on June 16th. They will jointly operate video streaming services, with Docomo's Lamino business transferring to a new company by WowWow. Docomo will acquire about 2.8% of WowWow's shares. These changes, effective October 4/1, aim to expand content and attract more customers.
On June 16th, the LDP General Council approved a bill to reduce House of Representatives seats by 45, specifically from proportional representation. This would happen if a House consultation body fails to agree on seat allocation within 1 year. The LDP plans to submit this bill to the current Diet session, together with the Japan Innovation Party.
では、スポーツニュースをお伝えします。
World Cup favorite Spain drew 0-0 with first-time participant Cape Verde in their opening Group H match. The Euro 2024 champions, unbeaten in 31 official games, struggled to score despite dominating possession. This was the first scoreless draw of the tournament's 13 matches.
Tunisia, Japan's next World Cup opponent, has sacked coach Sabri Lamouchi. This follows their 1-5 defeat to Sweden in the opening group stage match. Monter Kebair will take over as interim manager. This is Tunisia's fastest coaching change during a World Cup, happening after just 1 game.
Masato Yoshii, former Lotte Marines manager, will become the new manager for the Rakuten Golden Eagles. This is an unusual mid-season appointment, less than a week after the previous manager's leave of absence. Rakuten is currently last in the Pacific League. Yoshii, who improved Lotte in 2023, is expected to turn the team around.
Cubs pitcher Shota Imanaga delivered a strong performance against the Rockies, allowing just 1 run in less than 6 innings. Although he missed out on the win, his team secured a dramatic walk-off victory in the 9th inning. Imanaga's consistent pitching helped keep the Cubs in the game.
Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani went hitless for the 2nd consecutive game against the Rays. Despite Ohtani's struggle at the plate, his team managed to secure a narrow victory. The Dodgers commenced their 3-game series against the Rays at home in Los Angeles on June 15th.
The World Cup match between Iran and New Zealand ended in a draw. Both teams played their opening group stage game, but neither could secure a victory. The final score resulted in an equal outcome, marking a balanced start for both Iran and New Zealand in the tournament.
Japan's national team, Moriyasu Japan, has canceled its June 17th training, opting for a full day off. This decision aims to provide rest after their intense 2-2 draw against the Netherlands in the World Cup opener. Players will recover to prepare for their next match against Tunisia on June 20th.
Stanford infielder Rintaro Sasaki, 21, participated in a workout with the MLB Dodgers. The team, which includes Shohei Ohtani, showed interest in Sasaki as a potential draft pick. Sasaki, who hit 16 home runs this season, is expected to decide his future after the MLB draft in mid-July.
Dodgers' Shohei Ohtani leads all positions in the first interim results for the MLB All-Star Game fan vote. He received over 1.16 million votes as the National League designated hitter. This would be Ohtani's sixth consecutive All-Star appearance. He boasts a .302 batting average with 14 home runs and 41 RBIs this season.
続いて、国際ニュースです。
U.S. President Trump announced an agreement signed with Iran to end hostilities. This is a major step to resolve the conflict. The deal includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz and a 60-day ceasefire extension. Iranian President Pezeshkian welcomed it as an important step, though a permanent ceasefire is still being negotiated. Oil prices fell following the news.
9 nations, including Japan and several European countries, issued a joint statement. They welcomed the U.S.-Iran memorandum to end hostilities and congratulated parties for diplomatic progress. The statement emphasized reopening the Strait of Hormuz for unconditional navigation. They also stressed Iran must not acquire nuclear weapons and are ready to lift sanctions with verifiable steps.
One of 38 Japanese-affiliated vessels in the Persian Gulf sustained damage to its hull on June 13th. Land Minister Kaneko confirmed the incident, stating the ship can still navigate independently. The extent and cause are under investigation. No crew members were injured, and no Japanese nationals were aboard the damaged vessel.
The G7 summit, bringing together leaders from 7 major countries, opened in Evian, France, on June 15th. During their first-day dinner, the leaders discussed pressing global issues. Key topics included the evolving situation in Iran and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, among other international matters.
A U.S. Air Force B-52 strategic bomber crashed shortly after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base in California on June 15th. All 8 crew members aboard died. The aircraft was on a routine test flight. The cause of the crash is under investigation and is expected to take up to 6 months.
The European Union officially began formal membership negotiations with Ukraine and Moldova on June 15th. This follows a policy shift by Hungary, which had previously stalled progress. The first cluster of issues, focusing on democracy and rule of law, has now started. Full membership will require agreement from all EU states.
2 former female foreign ministers from South America have announced their candidacies for the next UN Secretary General. Out of 6 declared candidates, 4 are women. This raises the possibility of the United Nations electing its first female Secretary General to succeed Secretary General Guterres.
China's retail sales in May turned negative for the first time in 3 years and 5 months. This key indicator of consumer trends marks the first decline since December 2022, when COVID-19 impacted consumption. This suggests a strengthening trend of consumers becoming more frugal.
Russia launched a large-scale attack on Ukraine on June 15th. In Kyiv, 5 people died and a fire broke out at the World Heritage-listed Kyiv Pechersk Lavra Monastery. President Zelensky condemned the act. Russia denied civilian targeting, claiming damage was from a U.S. Patriot missile system. At least 10 people died overall.
続いて、文化・芸能ニュースをお伝えします。
Japan's first World Cup match against the Netherlands, aired on June 15th, achieved a 27.1% average viewership in the Kanto region. Kansai saw 22.7%, the highest instant ratings 34.9% in Kanto and 30.1% in Kansai were recorded at the game's end. The match, broadcast from 5 a.m., concluded in a 2-2 draw.
A 60,000 yen Royal Pop pocket watch, a collaboration between Swatch and luxury brand Audemars Piguet, is highly popular. Its design resembles AP's 3.5 million yen Royal Oak. On its May 16th release, a 500-meter queue formed in Ginza. Resales are common. Swatch previously partnered with Omega, expanding this collaboration method.
The BPO stated on June 16th that Fukuoka Broadcasting's variety show, Nandamo Tokume Gakari Haken Rakuchaku, had ethical problems. An episode about a hoarder house aired last April emphasized unsanitary conditions excessively. The BPO noted this lacked consideration for participants. Fukuoka Broadcasting accepted the view, promising to uphold human rights in future programs.
The second season of TBS drama Vivant, starring Masato Sakai, will start on July 26th. 2 new cast members were announced on June 16th, Kyoko Miyashita and Thai actor Tanapak Jung Jaifar, known as OHM. This marks OHM's debut in Japanese film or drama. Their roles are secret, but are expected to significantly influence the main character.
Mirai Shida will play her first lead heroine role in a Monday 9 p.m. drama, Black Trick, the lawyer who controls justice, starting July 20th. This marks her return to the slot after 5 years and her first co-starring with Gact. Shida plays an elite lawyer who opposes Gact's character, who uses fabrication to uncover truth.
NTV announcer Tetsu Ibihara 51 became the new principal of NTV Academy on June 15th. This is historic, as he is the first active announcer to hold this position in the Academy's 50 years. He succeeds former NTV announcer Hiroshi Tasho, who passed away in April. Ibihara will balance his sports broadcasting duties with leading the Academy.
TBS announced on June 16th that popular 5-member group MLK will have their first primetime variety special, MLK No Bakuretsu Mission. It airs July 7th at 10 p.m. MLK, with over 3 billion SNS views and a Kohaku Uta Gassen debut, is immensely popular. The show's announcement was a surprise to the members.
Actress Yoko Maki, 43, discussed her 2015 divorce. Married at 26 with a child, she earned money while her ex-husband managed their home. Maki struggled with this division, wishing to be with her child more, and sometimes blamed him. Post-divorce, she realized her gratitude for him and regretted her past mindset.
DAZN, a sports streaming service, apologized for misleading customers. For its football plan, which streams the World Cup, some displays suggested a monthly contract. However, the plan was actually an annual contract. DayZN acknowledged the error in its presentation and issued an apology.
Japan's new National Theatre Ballet in Tokyo won the Best Company Award from the UK Critics' Circle National Dance Awards on June 15th. This marks the first time a Japanese ballet company has received this honor. Last year, their acclaimed performance of Giselle in London contributed to this recognition.
今日のニュースは以上です。最後までお付き合いいただき、ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。